topic is music, and we chose to talk about like the different kinds of genres in music.
So the first topic or the first genre is trap music. Trap music originated in Atlanta, Georgia, and the names, these were like the first people to come up with trap music, and their names are kind of crazy. So, but it's Cool Breeze, Dungeon Family, Out, Outcast, Goody Mob, and Ghetto Mafia. When did trap music begin? Trap music began in the early 1990s, but it didn't. The mainstream actually happened in like the early 2000s. What is trap music? Trap music is a mix of dance, hip hop, and dub. And normally, what people talk about in trap music, some people talk about like their upbringing of how like they were broke and they like now they're rich. Some people talk about just like basically their life stories. Am I talking loud? Okay. So today's like famous trap artists are like Cardi B, G Herbo, Nicki Minaj, Young Dolph, 6ix9ine, and just etc.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about reggaeton. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So it's mainly heard in like Spanish countries, and it originated in Puerto Rico in the late 1990s. So it's kind of the newest form of music. So yeah. So a lot of people don't know about this music because it's kind of Spanish. So, but it's now starting to be like a part of the American community, I guess. And so like people like Drake, J Lo, Selena Gomez, Cardi B, wait, who's that? Oh, DJ Snake. So they're all being a part of this. So like every day, like people are starting to get more involved with this type of music. And so I don't know if you guys have heard of Te Bote or Taki Taki or Mia. That's the newest song. So yeah. And a lot of people, for some reason, they confuse it with reggae. It's nothing to do with that. So it's really different from reggae, and it's just because it starts with the same words, but it's not the same. So, yeah.
All right, mine is on hip hop, in the general hip hop sphere, which is obviously the American-based genre that came out of New York in the late 70s in the Bronx. Generally in the poor black communities in the Bronx. It was originally they used turntables of funk and disco records, and they would use the breakdowns, which only consisted of the bassist and the drumming as this repeating melody, and that's what they would rap over. As time went on, it became more mainstream, and the people that were making the genre got more popularized, they had more money. Electronic production became more popular, as is now being seen, as well as other sampling, while the other versions of sampling. Some of the first big hip-hop artists that came out in the 80s would be the Beastie Boys, which are the first really big like white rap artists, which appeal to white people in the U.S. in general, which helped popularize hip-hop in general. Run DMC and Public Enemy were some of the first groups, or rap artists in general, to bring forth social issues in poor black communities like education, drug, gun violence, etc. In the 90s is when a lot of like modern hip hop started to take its form with its major roots. 3 6 Mafia, which are from Memphis, popularized the big southern hip hop sound that's out right now. They were the first big artists to not promote necessarily, but talk about heavy drug use, like the big lean culture right now in the 2010s, as well as cocaine, which is still found to be taboo today, but they talked about it. And they were also, hold up. They heavily influenced modern sound essentially of hip hop. NWA, which a lot of you may know about, were similar to like Run DMC in the 80s. This talked about major big social issues, and also they created basically the genre gangster rap in the late 80s and early 90s, with also punk influences as well. And Tupac, of course, is like one of the biggest rap artists ever. His big thing, of course, was social awareness, and speaking about things that not a lot of other people would talk 2000s, some of the biggest artists, Eminem, obviously, is like one of the biggest artists ever. He sold the most records of any other rap artist in history. Lil Wayne further popularized the 3-6 sound and Southern rap in general, also promoted lean culture more in the mainstream. Kanye West changed what was acceptable for rap artists to be accepted, as he wasn't someone that grew up from a rough upbringing necessarily, and was actually a college dropout. He's one of the most major influencers of hip hop today. And finally is modern 2010s, Death Grips, which is not necessarily like a standard hip hop group, but their influence of distortion and lo-fi sound is prominent as seen like in the SoundCloud rap scene today. Odd Future is similar, where they were the first big hip hop group to come out of the internet. They were one of the first big groups to come out of the internet essentially in the 2010s. And Space Ghost Purge, which brought back the 3-6 sound from the late 80s and early 90s, and also helped promote the SoundCloud sound. You know, I Lil Pump, XXX, Ski Mask, etc. That's popping right now.
I'll be talking about bachata. Bachata originating from the countryside of the Dominican Republic. He's Manuel Calderon, and he released the first bachata song in 1962 called Borracho de Amor. But bachata didn't really become popular up until the 20th century. Bachata is typically danced with a partner. It can be danced alone, but it's very difficult. It's more easier to dance with a partner, and it's also more fun. Bachata nowadays is really, really popular within the Hispanic communities. You'll hear it at any party, or if you go to a Hispanic marketplace, like they'll be playing this kind of music. The most popular bachata singers that I am aware of are Prince Royce and Romeo Santos. Prince Royce's first hit song was called Corazón Sin Cara, and Romeo Santos was actually part of a band called Aventura, and their style of music was bachata, but then he decided to go solo in April of 2011, and then released his own song May of 2011, and it actually became a hit, and it was called Promise. Yeah,
That's it.